In this tutorial, we're going to compose the Mystica logo on some screens, but instead of using corner pin, we're going to use Buju to do 3D tracking. To do so, we export a series of frames. We then import this sequence in Buju. The ideal situation for tracking is one which has no moving objects, such as the automated lights that we can see in the scene. However, we're going to do the tracking with track features. Buju will try to do the tracking of all the details that the image has. The trackers that aren't precise enough will be ignored. Buju can also exclude areas of the tracking frame by generating masks, define the camera lenses and other functions, which for the purpose of this tutorial we'll omit. Once the tracking is finished, we do a camera solve, which will convert the 2D tracking in a camera trajectory into 3D. Now the tracking points are seen as a cloud of points located in 3D space, coloured to indicate the amount of precision of the drag of each point. To check the accuracy of the camera position, we apply Add Test Object. In the 3D view of the scene, we position the test object within the cloud of tracking points. Moving the view of the 3D space, we can locate ourselves within this space, since the cloud was created from the depth of the 2D scene. In the 3D scene generated, we can see the resulting 3D camera. We go back to the 2D scene to finish adjusting the position of the test object, moving and scaling it until it's in a place that makes sense. If the object now appears to be well integrated into the scene, we've finished the test and we can remove the object. Select a point on the screen to be included in the export of the 3D scene with the option Flag for Export. We do the same, selecting a point on the small screen. We export the scene with Export Camera Solve, and in the dialog box we define Mystica's camera format in Export Type. We export the defined tracking with the option Export Flag Tracks Only, and set a name for the file which will have the FX extension. This file can be opened from Mystica as if it were a Comp3D effect. Within Comp3D, we'll see that it has two layers. These two layers are the ones we flagged for export. We go to the small screen to compose, to finalize the position of the screen. It's important first to define the pivot point, since the tracking obtained was from the point located on the right, so the pivot point must be set on the right. To compensate for the relocating of the pivot, we move the object towards the left, making the right edge of the screen to be composed coincide with the original right edge. Then we rotate the layer in 3D until we position it where we want it. This is one of the most complicated tasks. There won't be so many problems with the larger screen, since the pivot point is in the center and the screen is virtually front-on to the camera. We can see that both screens are located and scaled correctly. We'll compose the original image on top of this tracking, carrying out a quick mask with a combination of the green screen and solid effects. Then we end by adjusting the position of each screen manually. The job's almost done, but we'll go back to add a few more floating screens. To do so, we copy the clip of the Mystica logo and compose it on top of everything else with a new Comp3D. We copy the camera from the Comp3D that had the tracking and we put it onto the new Comp3D. Now we position the new logo anywhere in the 3D space. The logo will always appear integrated into the scene since it has the 3D tracking of the camera obtained in Buju.